The majority of the Famicom Fridays this year have either been things it's a shame we didn't get in the West, or things that wouldn't have made sense in the West anyway. However, there's another more insidious class of game, the ones that gave North America a miss entirely and went straight on into Europe. Banana Prince, aka Bananan Ouji no Daibouken, don't know where they picked up that extra N, is one of those rogue travelers. While folks out in Saitama and Salzburg will already know what's going on, I'm left to try to figure out this thing with a dude who is apparently the Prince of Bananas, managing to beat Donkey Kong Country to the punch in a bad way. Jesus, did you see that dinosaur steal the freaking huge banana? I wouldn't have believed it myself had it not been the perfect setup for an 8-bit action platformer. It's time for the Banana Prince to pick up his banana sword, as moderately perverted as that sounds, and go rescue it. That'll require trekking through 7 worlds of ticked-off vegetables who apparently covet the banana's high levels of potassium and dietary fiber. And come on, when's the last time you ever heard anyone say dietary fiber in the context of a video game review? I ask you. Our prince has a basic sword attack with short range, again, not a word, which can be augmented by power-ups that grant star-shaped projectiles. Those power-ups can be purchased from this cheerful-looking woman, just one of a number of franchisees of the weapon shops, gambling parlors, and even kissing booths you'll find in the game. These appear in between each stage and at random intervals via doors in the stages themselves that also act as checkpoints for your progression. Sounds rather straightforward, huh? It would be if it weren't for a few interesting quirks, like the ability to plant a seed by crouching and pressing B, which immediately grows into a climbable tree and which allows for a power jump from its canopy, all Mario dismounting the flagpole style. It's really the best way to jump, as the physics seem to get all wonky if you go airborne without this active guerrilla gardening. You can hold B to run, just like most every other platformer, but if you jump while running, your jump slows down to walking speed, like you just hit the biggest gust of wind ever. Just wrapping my head around that cost me the first 5 minutes of the playthrough. In fact, all throughout the experience, I was hitting weird glitches, like jumping too high and, quote, falling to my death from the top of the screen, or timing out against this boss because he's got a load of health and lots of recoil time. And that's not even getting into the boss fights, which are, in fact, just trivia quizzes about the game itself. A game I've never played before. Needless to say, I was screwed. Despite these issues, it's apparently one of Ahmed in New York's favorite games of all time and a childhood touchstone, which I have to respect, else he wouldn't have sent it to us. And I certainly can't call it a bad game. There's some serious innovation here. The graphics are pronounced and vibrant, and the soundtrack caught my attention right from the jump. I don't know, I guess I just see the errors, the foibles, the idiosyncrasies a bit more readily. It's a bleeding Famicom game. Given some of the dreck that hit that platform, this looks like one of the better offerings. Plus, it tastes great on cereal, over ice cream, or blended into your favorite chocolate shake. The bananas, not the cartridge itself, mind you. That'd just hurt like hell.